shaking it out.
Hey, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. We are live. My name is Melanie McAllister, and I am with an educational superstar, Laura Gilchrist, and I'm coming live from Alaska. Where are you coming in live from, Laura?
I'm in Kansas City.
Awesome.
Right in the middle of the country. Yeah.
Are you so excited about Friday when the Royals start playing again?
Yes, I cannot wait. I cannot wait.
Do you have a favorite player? I know I didn't prep you for this.
Oh,
but...
it's Salvi.
Salvi. Yes, he is. Yes. I agree. He's second to Wit. I'm sorry, but otherwise we're in agreement. And so before we get started, the cool thing about Laura and I, we actually found each other on Twitter like 3 years ago.
Yeah, just random.
And it was so crazy because then we found out that we were born in the same city in Missouri, St. Joseph, Missouri. We had some same teachers. You graduated with my cousin Jeff.
Yes, I did.
Yes, like the connection is crazy ridiculous. It's so cool.
It is so fun. I still can't get over it. I love it.
Yes, but the best thing that we have in common is that we are both very much for pro-family, pro-parent, pro-student, pro-teacher, how can we connect our families and our students with our teachers and our community. That is what we're here for today. You have like a plethora of knowledge because you are a consultant after 20 years of teaching, and now you focus solely on that. And I'm going to let you talk about that in just a second. But so hopefully everybody that's viewing, these are great ideas if you're an educator. These are great ideas if you're a parent, because it takes all of us. If you're just a community member, you are invited to this because this is something that it helps all of us. It's going to make, and actually the pandemic has shown us that we need to change stuff up. We have gotten by with a lot that we no longer can get by with, and we're going to delve into that. So first of all, can you tell us about the traditional family engagement versus the ParentCamp model? And then I'll show a little video.
You got it. So, I taught for 20 years. I was actually in elementary, middle, and high as a coach. And, family engagement, I was big about it. Okay. I had some good practices, I thought, but I taught 2,000 kids in my career, and how many parents did I actually know? I always knew there was just something missing, but I could never really put my finger on, like, why does it not work? Like, this should be this joyous thing of family, school, and community, working for kids. And it just always felt resisting. It felt apathy and just not positive. Like, we had to manage it. So what is the problem with family, school, community engagement? Well, we've been set up, you guys. We inherited this family engagement. I call it the compliance model. I mean, it's in school as well, right? So our best efforts at family engagement are sabotaged from the beginning, and we can't even see what it is. And the thing that is sabotaging it is what I call the power differential. Okay, so when parents come to family engagement, who has the power? Like, if you're in a meeting and you're in rows, let's say educators are at the front, they can see everybody. Who does a parent see? One person.
Right. Can
a parent talk when they need to? Can they get the help? Can they contribute? At the end, maybe. And this is just traditional. We inherited. There's no shame or blame. But it doesn't set us up to connect. Like, you can't in this system. People, when you come in and you feel like you don't have the power, and you have to, like, hey, I have an idea and you're not listening to it, or I have a need and you're not listening to it, and I don't know how to get connected, and I don't have trust with you, then it sets us up against each other. So we have to change the design, the conditions of family engagement, okay? And so we now see, thanks to COVID, I mean, that is one thing that's come out of this, that we need each other, we want each other, and that we can design for connection. And that's where virtual parent camp comes in. We've shown that you can do it virtually. And I read research today from Vanessa Van Edwards People School. She said that they've proven that you can get oxytocin, which is that bonding chemical, in virtual meetings, like if you set it up in the right way.
Agreed. I'm getting oxytocin right now. So thank you. And so we appreciate that you are watching right now. Please drop your experiences, your questions. Like, Laura is an amazing educator. She is here for all of us. So please drop your comments, your questions, tell us where you're from. And while you're doing that, I'm going to show a little clip about ParentCamp. All right.
Hello, everyone. I'm Laura Gilchrist, inviting you to a free 30-minute webinar on a positive family school community engagement model called Virtual Parent Camp. The time is now to move out of the old model that we inherited of communicating to parents and managing them to connecting and collaborating with them for kids. The question is, how do you do that? Virtual Parent Camp has got you covered, and training is available right now. So join us July 16th, 24th, 28th, or August 5th. 30-minute, not an hour webinar. Take care. Bye-bye, and see you there.
Okay. That is so cool. You said everything so well. Oh, but I gotta.
Well, looks like I'm here. Looks like I'm here with you. Yeah. So one of our kind of taglines. Hey, there she's back. She's back. I was just carried on. I'm like, oh right, we're gonna roll with this. We're gonna roll.
Sorry. You said something. I'm sorry. Go ahead and finish your thought. But you said something that I want to talk about.
Oh no. Yeah. Okay. I'll finish it. So one of our messages to schools is shift your sights. Like, don't settle for communication. Communication is transactional. Okay. Don't settle for that. Move your sights beyond to connection. And that's human connection and trust. And that trust that you can build with the right model is the thing that drives everything else. And from that trust and collaboration and opportunities to meet, things flow from that. You don't have to know everything as an educator right up front. You don't have to figure it all out. It comes from everybody together logistically.
And I love what you said in your video. You said we're going from managing parents. Like, it is not our job to manage parents. And a lot of times we have made our parents feel very unwelcome in our classroom. And like you said earlier, I'm not trying to shame anybody. Like, that is literally kind of how we were taught, old school wise. And then unfortunately, the school system, the public school system, has done so much damage across the board. We have communities of color who have been traumatized throughout our entire history. We have families who don't feel welcome. We have things called white flight, all these different things that are damaging our system. And so what you're offering in the ParentCamp model is how it's free. Like, you don't pay money for this, number one. It's just, how do we embrace the things that we have been taught to kind of like ignore, really? Is that a good way to say it? Did I say it wrong?
No, you said it right. So you're saying, how do we lean into what we know is right with families so that everybody can have a voice at the table? Everybody's at the table. You know,
right.
And I'm telling you, we can. At Virtual Parent Camp, so over 14 weeks, we pivoted. We were physical before. We're actually a partner of the U.S. Department of Ed. We had 6 parent camps physical. They're all in circles, right? Breakout rooms at the Department of Ed. And we've had them across the nation, many, many states. So we had those, and then we pivoted in March with COVID, and we added something to the model. So ParentCamp is based on EdCamp model of the equality conditions. We've tweaked it for parents. Like, we've got this tweaked and the whole setup, and then we made it virtual, right? And we added the collective efficacy piece, which is the purpose. Okay, so we've added onto this model. There's 2 training. Every parent camp itself is free. There is training available, like I said, that does cost. It's reasonable, but the value of what you can apply it to beyond just a parent camp with parents and so many other things like careers is just invaluable. Okay, so where was I? So
parents can do ParentCamp for free, correct? Like, and I can join.
Yeah, what we do, we're just like a model classroom. Every 2 weeks, we have anybody from across the nation can come to Virtual Parent Camp and see for themselves. Because like I told you, I feel kind of like when I try to explain Parent Camp, we don't have it in our bodies. We know that traditional system of this. And so when I try to explain, it doesn't land. Like people, it doesn't land anywhere. So people are just kind of look at me and, they just kind of look at me, and maybe they kind of do that otherwise. they look at me and it doesn't really land. So I feel a bit like a crazy person, just like babbling on in this excited fashion. So we have a model classroom that people can come to. It's absolutely free. And we're connecting people across the country. 14. Yeah. So we're showing it. And we're also practitioners while we train. So we're training school teams of 8, like 2 teachers, staff, 2 admin, 2 parents, and 2 community. We're training those teams, but we're also practitioners right alongside. So we're getting feedback and improving our process along with your feedback, but we're walking together. So we're all about walking the talk of family engagement so that just to help the process move.
So you're training other educators to do Parent Camp, but while you're actually helping parents engage and how to empower parents.
We're doing it.
Yes, because parents are, and we've seen this, like if you're missing that parent piece, then you're not reaching your families, you're not reaching your students. Like if you really want to get your students to achieve more and to feel like for them to understand that their voice matters, you've got to also connect with parents, right?
We have such huge assets. Like that's the thing. Once you get connected, what we found at Virtual Parent Camp, one of our ahas is that people, they genuinely want to work together. Like they're like, the parents, the teachers, there's no more animosity once you're connected in the right way. People just can't wait to work together. That's one of our big ahas, is that once you get them in the right way, like we kind of have this feeling that family, school, and community really don't work well together. Because I think as an educator, I don't know about you, but and the people you out there, you have those negative memories. Our brains recall those negative, and that system we're in brings those out. So, yeah.
I know we didn't talk about this beforehand, so I'm kind of coming off the cuff here, but like, have you had parents that have come into Parent Camp that are really angry? Like they have felt very ignored for a very long time and they don't trust the system. I mean, do you have parents that feel that way?
Yeah. We've had parents come on and they keep coming back because it feels good. One, it's a resilience piece, that just this gathering. And they, so let's I'll give you an example. The equity room, that is our most requested topic. So all the topics at Virtual Parent Camp are not decided by me. That is off my shoulders. I'm so happy, because otherwise you're sitting there going, is this right? Do you think they'll like it? So it's all what they want. So
all what the parents want. They
family school community, every week we ask, and then we drive our topics are always what people want. Like we never just go get it. So that's great. So equity, SEL, how do I engage my kids? How do I do this? Right. Those are the top topics. Well, the equity room, that's where you might think there would be, people are coming in and they've got a lot of trauma and just all those things kind of come out. And it has been the most requested room, the most filled room, and so positive because they feel like they can share, they can help other people. And then they're the ones that started the collaboration piece. They jumped the quickest. So after 3 weeks, this is another aha, we're just going to thread it in. So what we found is the connection starts. And then by week 3, I was so surprised in a beautiful way that the bias to action was 3 weeks. People are saying, we actually want to do more than just connect. Like we want to collaborate to create things. We want to collaborate to take it back to our community and come back and talk about it every week. We want to pull new people in. We want to learn X, Y, and Z. We want to learn how to do PBL as parents for our kids, right? So that bias to action, it's rapid. Like, and in education, what do we think? Oh, it's going to take 5 years. No, it's not. When you have the conditions, right? Equality conditions plus purpose, bias to action is rapid. So
can you tell me, what does bias to action mean?
That instead of bias, like in trauma, for me, like I have a high ACEs score, and I've been working on my resilience. And so I have a bias to, like when I get in fight, or freeze, my CPTSD is triggered, I'll kind of bias to pull back. And we're all kind of in that passive, like in the traditional engagement, it's more of a passive model. The people in charge have all the power, the other people don't. So they just kind of become apathetic. Oh, that's a good
question.
That's a great question. I'll get to that.
Okay.
Oh gosh, what was I saying? Bias.
So you have your bias.
Yeah. So the bias to action is that they're not sitting there waiting for somebody else to say, what do we do? As a group, since it's about the room, it's not a presenter ever. Okay. We do facilitator training because our training, we're so used to just presenting and having the power differential, right? So I present and then you listen and I know more than you do, right? I mean, in general. So then
You probably do.
So it sets us up from the beginning. Right. So, yeah, where was I going with that? The bias to action.
The power to the action.
Right. So that's what they were all about, working together and collaborating. After week 3, they wanted to create and do. And that's what you don't see in family engagement because it's just it doesn't set us up to do that.
So you're saying that the bias to action is like figuring out that everybody has some sort of bias and it could be a personal trauma. But when you come together as a community, then you quickly can form action to whatever your community needs.
Yeah. And bias, that it's just a term. It's just a proclivity to act instead of stepping back. And yes, you come in. If you come in, you can come in with whatever you've got. We partnered with the state of Kansas to do 4 virtual parent camps. We did 2 with elementary and secondary families and 2 with educators. And one of the comments from an educator was, the parents were coming in with a lot of trauma and, heaviness. And this educator said, you know what? The parents weren't complaining. We get these educators, we start thinking, well, parents are just, they're complaining. Parents think that about teachers. I'm a parent too. And so anyway, they said they're not complaining. And it felt, even though everybody came in with this heaviness, people left happy. Like they left with more resilience than they came with. They left with oxytocin. And when they go home, think about this. Kids copy parents. They copy their emotions. They copy their actions. They copy how they handle things. And when parents come home and say, I had a great experience and I know your teacher now and I know her face to, it's just incredible.
It is incredible. So this question, how do you connect better with parents who do not speak English and I, the teacher, don't know much of their language? I know you can answer this.
Yeah, how to connect better with parents who do not speak English and I, the teacher, don't know much of their language. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm going to start with what we do in virtual parent camp. So people ask what they want to do. So we have an Arab room for Arab families and they speak in Arabic. We have a Hispanic room, the ESOL, they speak Spanish and English. But for you, there are some apps that you can use. What I would recommend, like thinking about ParentCamp, you would have a ParentCamp, and that would be like more of a session that's a connect and a collaborate. So let's come together and talk about this issue. How can we we can tackle a problem? We got these barriers. What can we do? So you pull people in. You might have some interpreters. You can get interpreters, in your parent camps. And then you connect because of the conditions, and the facilitators are trained, and then you figure out the best thing to do with everybody's input. How does that?
I love that. So you're tackling a problem, but you're tackling it with the people that you want to connect with. So everybody's voice is heard. And you said something earlier that everybody that comes to Parent Camp, 100% of them, they feel seen, they feel heard, they feel valued. Like across the table, people feel that connection with each other, and that way they can problem solve, make a solution that fits what they need, what they have. That might not be the same in a different place, in a different city, but something that they have in their community.
So if you have a school team, a family, school, and community that are trained, it's not just training the teachers; it's training a team, a family, school, and community. If you're trained, you can start your parent camps with just your connection piece, that purpose, and then as people start asking, you can pick Imagine this, communication. Like I talked about, we want to focus on connection, not communication, but communication is something we want to nail. We want to get it right? So you could say, we want to have the best communication plan for everybody. We want our parents to be happy. We don't want to be overloaded with trying to guess, I got to post it on Facebook and Twitter and here and there and then email it, right? So let's set that as a problem, a challenge for our community, and let's have a session on it and then see if people want to keep going. Now imagine if you kept coming back every month and you had by the end of the year the best thing. And you started at the beginning, you're like, here's what we did with your feedback. What'd you think? Okay, the talk. we have different facilitation for that. And then the next month, the same thing. And you just make it better and better. By the end of the year, people are saying, we did this together and we have a really good communication plan. So you can target problems in your community. I want to jump to the equity session. This is what I was going to speak. So the equity room has been going since, I think, week 2. And here's how it kind of progressed. It started with technology, as you can guess, just your technology, your internet access. Okay. And then it moved into different types of equity, like social emotional, just different parts of different types of equity. And then it's moved to, how do I get these discussions at my school around my kids, like with the family school community? And that's where I see parents are trying to figure out, they're like, how do I start conversations at my school? How can I do this? Because I want input on how these things are going to start. I want a way to, be seen, heard, and valued, and help things better. So that's where we're at right now. And they're also, looking at just citywide kind of things that they can do back in their own cities. But that's where they're at. We want to do this. We want to talk about this, not just here, but with around our kids. Like, what can we do together?
And Shay Sun says he loves the different language rooms. So that is so cool. So
we're just expanding that, we're expanding that as we go.
That is so cool. I love what you keep saying, that there's the family, school, and community. It's a triangle. And, every single piece is so valuable. And the more that we try to go into this new kind of teaching because of the pandemic, we see the importance of each component so much more. And I think the school system has tried to carry the burden for a long time for everybody. We're tired. So we can't do it. We can't do it. And the teachers that I know that have felt some success in remote teaching, even though we'd call it crisis teaching, because, it wasn't like something we planned for. Mm-hmm. The biggest success thing was that they had communication with parents, that whatever they had established in their classroom, those routines, they were able to find a way to carry over into the remote part of it. And but the relationship with parents was key. Like there was office hours, whatever it took, the parents knew how to reach the teacher and how to connect with the teacher. And so we can't ignore that ever again. We don't want to, there are some things that we don't ever want to go back to as we move into a new way of schooling. So.
Yeah. And for teachers, that one thing that pulls up what a parent said at ParentCamp, virtual ParentCamp, they said, when teachers, when you send us things and you put at the end, let me know if you have any questions. This parent said, I'm not going to ask because I'm going to feel stupid. So that parent was suggesting, share multiple ways that they could reach out, and also let them know that, I'm sure you'll have questions or you'll want to reach out. So just to really go into, I want to talk with you. I want to build a connection, to be very reach out and start that process, and don't be afraid of sending multiple emails. Or reaching out in different ways, to just about connection, not just about facts. Because when you're just sending facts, there's no there's no hook or connection there. So they just, apathy.
Right. And another thing that I remember hearing is that, if you don't have established relationships with parents before, they struggled with it going into the crisis teaching. If there weren't established relationship or norms, then that was an even bigger struggle. So we have an opportunity now to start strong and start fresh and take what we've learned and do better this next time, be more organized, and invite parents where we may have not done that in the past. So there's something good and beautiful about this new beginning, even though it is based on something that is not good and beautiful, because nobody, this COVID-19 is throwing us all for a loop. But we're also going to see students that have been very traumatized by this disease. As we go through different parts of the country, it looks different for everybody. And that's why ParentCamp is so essential right now, because you can tackle what you're facing in your community together. It's not just the teacher's problem. It's not just the school's problem. It's not just where a parent feels alone. This community can come together and do what you need for your community. And like I said, it looks different for everybody. Yeah, right.
I want to invite you. You said it so perfectly, Melody. There is so much hope. Jadania Bishop, she's been on a virtual ParentCamp several times. She's amazing. She said something that really flipped my brain. She goes, I'm hopeful about this year. And my brain went, wait a second, Laura, because, I'm a pretty hopeful person. And I'm like, you have not been thinking about this hopeful, because what you see in the media, it's all about, oh, we need this, we need that, we need, the trauma. And she really turned my thinking around. I'm like, okay, that's right. We have to have hope, and we have to make schools the most positive places on earth, or home school communication and connection has to be positive. If we come in and start focusing on the negative, and like I was doing, just, okay, we hope it's okay. Are we going to be okay? Let's do this. Let's try this. Are you okay? If we do that with kids, we're reinforcing the trauma. So that is one thing that I would promote in conversations at schools.
And so what are your 3 hopes for the new school year?
I hope that schools will go in with hope, and they'll get together and talk about how we can be positive and hopeful. One, if they're in school, when they're in school, and how they can do that with parents. So that's that hope piece. And it's that schools would, my fear is that it's going to be easy to slip into this because it's what we know. So we go into business as usual. If we go into judgment on grading, homework, you got to get this done, just business as usual, we're not addressing the human needs. We have to connect. We have to focus on connection with kids, with families, to heal enough to be able to move forward. And if you come back into homework, tests, moving around, and then going home and still dealing with all the stuff, it's a recipe for a disaster. So I listened to NAFTE, they had a webinar, and Maryland, that they had wonderful, Pennsylvania was on that great stuff. But one thing I remember is they talked about schools need to start out with, this was from Maryland, focusing on SEL, on connection, on mindfulness and resilience, and not on, and also on language of hope, not on grades as usual. So there'll have to be a lot of conversations quickly, and that's going to be hard to do. I do know schools don't have, some states don't have testing. So that kind of takes that burden off, but schools will want to have a discussion about that, and maybe with parents. And
some states still have the testing, but this is a time where superintendents and teachers, we support those who are saying, this is ridiculous, we should not be testing. That's a different conversation, but I stand behind all of those people and would love to, we'll engage in that topic too. But so what you're saying, because you cut out just a little bit, and I want to go back into this. So you're saying that to have that language of hope, talking about grading, talking about homework, talking about business as usual, compliance issues is not the language of hope. Because right now we have to be innovative. We're going to be asking our students to be innovative. We have to be innovative on how we connect in a human form, especially when we're not going to connect face-to-face. Most of us, even here in Anchorage, they're not opening face-to-face, which is great because right now our COVID numbers are growing. So we're trying to protect people. So I love what you said about that. It's like having a conversation with your parents, with your school community on how we're going to make this school year successful without trying to make it business as usual.
Right. So you start off with that kind of, you just get them back in and just connection kind of things, nothing about testing and all that. And then you'd want to hold like a parent camp to talk about it and just connect people at family, school, and community. And then things will grow out of that. And there won't be the animosity of,
Yeah. So I'm just putting up different comments. Oh, that's so great, Shay. I'm so glad. And it's ParentCamp.org.
Yeah.
So that's super easy to put down. I'm going to put it in the comments. ParentCamp.org. And our time is coming to a close, and I want to respect everybody's time. But if this is something that you're interested, whether you're an educator, whether you're a parent, whether you're a community member, and I tried to blast this out in as many places as I could, please think about signing up to ParentCamp.org. For just join. You don't pay a fee to just be a part of it.
The newsletter, right? Family School Community Engagement newsletter. And on our YouTube as well, we have a lot of videos of people just talking about their experience. And so you can kind of see for yourself, but inviting you also to Virtual Parent Camp. Our next one is next Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Central. I just learned Alaska time is called Alaska time Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mel.
It is. We have our own. Yes, we have our own time zone. We're different like that. So I have joined one time. It is hard for me with my time zone, but I do want to be a part of it more because I know there's so much I have to learn. Plus, I love advocating for parents and students. I have a lot of relationships with former students and their parents, like that I consider friendships, and I believe that this is key to success. And this is what students and families remember. This is why they remember some teachers and can't remember others, because it just took, for those who took the time to be human and to have formed that relationship. But it's not necessarily natural for everybody. And so that's why a parent camp is wonderful to join and to learn from. Now, if you're somebody that is like, I want to facilitate this, you can also reach out to Laura and even drop that in the comments if you want to learn more about that, because she can help you. This is what she does. And how many states are you in?
What'd you say?
How many states are you in right now?
Oh my gosh. Well, in virtual parent camp, we're up to like 38 states over 14 weeks, 600 people, family, school, community, different languages. But we've been in, we've been probably in 20 states physical parent camps.
Wow. So you guys need some more states to join in too, right?
Yeah, that's right. We do. And we're just,
you didn't say 50 states.
No, we didn't say 50. And we're looking for Alaska.
Okay.
Yeah. We're looking
All
for
right. All right. I feel it. I feel it.
Thank you.
Yes, we have one more comment. Okay, yes. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you, Shay. There was a couple of people I couldn't see your name, but thank you for your comments. And for those people who are tuning in after this goes live, please feel free to drop in your questions and your comments. We will see them. Please definitely go to ParentCamp.org. We would love for you to join this movement. We have the hope language that I want to share is that going into this next school year, it doesn't have to look like business as usual. We can tackle the problems that we're facing as a community together, and we all are a part of that. And our students are needing that. They may not know that they need that, but we do. We see success. You and I have both seen success when all of these pieces come together. And so everybody watching, thank you again. You are important. You matter. And we hope we'll see you at ParentCamp.org. Laura, thank you so much for joining. It is so good to see you face to face. I have so much oxytocin coming in right now, just being with you in your presence.
You're amazing. I love how you have a way with words. So beautiful. Thank you for the opportunity. And thank you to anybody that's watching now or watches in the future. And I just wish you the best in everything this year with your family.
I hope this is not our last conversation. I want to say one thing that Laura said that really struck me. She says, you cannot collaborate without connection. And so everybody who's trying to make these decisions without collaborating with others, you're going to feel stuck. And I think that we've all kind of seen that. So you cannot collaborate without connection. So that's what we're pleading with you today.
You can build connection virtually. You can. We've proved it. You can actually do this. People come back. So it's not like you have to hope. You can do it virtually, and it feels so good.
Yes. And with that, we say bye-bye. We'll see you again hopefully soon. Bye, everybody.
Thank you guys. Bye.